cold.
Oh no. This is bad. Hey, can you quickly grab me a chest? I forgot that I needed a chest.
All right, hold on.
Oh,
are you spitting out?
I'm dropping bitumen.
Yeah. All that's really used for is asphalt, so, I don't know how...
But still,
All right,
I kind of want to keep it.
Where do you want it, right here?
Yeah, just right here.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Just right out the top of the old... Whoa, okay. Whew. I was a little scared.
Yeah, don't worry. It's safe. It's safe.
Okay,
it's
well,
safe.
There was one hole here.
It's safe.
Okay.
It's safe.
Okay. Anyway, so last episode,
don't worry about it.
You asked me a crazy one, is that, am I happy? And I don't know if I'm happy with my answer, but we'll probably delve more into that. But you were starting the saga of Snoop.
Yeah.
So you're saying you grew up in a
so
pretty...
yeah, so I grew up in a pretty well-to-do neighborhood. I went to school, got everything taken care of. It was a nice, middle class kind of upbringing. Both my parents worked. Mom and dad both worked, and I didn't have to do a whole lot of work beyond the house stuff.
Yeah.
I did have a small job at high school. I was helping out with food carts during lunch and breaks. So
actually in school.
Yeah, it was an in-school work program kind of thing. So I earned money. From it, and I got free lunches. So it was pretty nice.
Oh, you know what? I never knew that about Snoop. Very interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty helpful.
Now, how old were you when you did that?
That was 16, 17, and 18.
Okay, so
I did that.
I was curious. I was curious. If
it was
you had to be
basically junior and senior year.
Okay.
So it was pretty nice.
Okay.
And also, parents loved it too because I was working and it was experience. It was a little bit of experience.
And then also, if there's any dumb crap you wanted to buy, you could buy your damn self.
I could buy myself, precisely. Granted, it was like maybe $100 every month, but whatever. I don't care. So they did all that. After high school, I got into part-time job, almost full-time for a little bit, and then I went to Palomar, which is the local community college. And
so did you have a gap in between high school and?
It wasn't long. I think it was just the part of the summer.
Oh, okay.
And then fall, I said I'm going into fall semester for Palomar because Mom wanted me to do so, and I figured I need to go to college.
Yep.
Because I'm one of those kids who was told you need to go to college.
Yep.
So did that.
Well, and you could.
And I could.
And that's what, if you can, cool, do it.
Yep. So that all worked out pretty well. I was working at my grocery store, Stater Brothers, for about 6 years in the meat department, packaging and handling meat. And I went to Palomar and was doing the Palomar thing. Played a lot of World of Warcraft and nearly got kicked out of college. That was pretty fun. Not a very happy time at that point in time.
Okay.
I didn't want to suffer the embarrassment of being kicked out of community.
But at the time, if someone asked, "Are you happy?" you might have answered yes.
Yeah, because I was working, I was going to school, and I didn't have to pay rent.
Because you stayed at home.
Agreement. That was an agreement with my parents.
Yep.
Is that as long as I worked and as long as I accidentally sprayed oil on the ground. As long as I worked, as long as I went to school, then I'm okay.
Okay.
Right, Luna? That's right. And so eventually I got things in gear and I transferred and I got to CSU San Marcos. Got to college, full on university.
Okay.
And I had to eventually give up my job because I needed to go to college full time. I needed to get studies done. I needed to get my degree, and work was in the way. So I did that. And at that point in time, I was pretty happy. I was at a big boy college.
Yeah.
An actual legitimate university, not just high school plus.
Yep.
And it was good. And then I started doing some extracurricular stuff with the professor for my computer science department, and went through some bioinformatics stuff, which was a lot of fun. It was a lot of biology, genetics mixed with computer science and modeling. And that was pretty cool. I did a couple of presentations at some symposiums.
Oh, okay, cool.
That was pretty neat. And eventually, I got offered a position at Productive for just this part-time database designer and programmer. That just still in college, they were doing part-time for me.
Okay.
So I signed on for that, and I started doing that. Eventually, I got hired on full-time, graduated, got my degree, and I was working full-time, and still living with the parents.
Now, give people kind of a basis for this. At this point, we knew each other.
Yes.
This is about the time. I don't know if I would necessarily say this is, when the squad started.
But we were aware of each other and started to become friends.
And we were friends. No, you started recording. No, did you record after you moved out into the apartment or no?
I started recording in...
Were you still at your parents' house?
16, I think.
No, you've been recording for more than
15?
2 years, yeah.
15. I had just moved out.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I was still hanging out with you guys, but I was at OPMC as a staff at the time. I was doing that for a while.
Yeah.
I moved out because eventually I got the bug bite telling me in the head that I needed to get my own place, and California is expensive, so I should rent an apartment.
Yeah.
And I went out there, I started searching for one. I found a good apartment, and I moved out at age 20, 25, 26. Moved out on my own, and at that point, I was living on my own, under my own steam. I had my job that was paying me pretty well, and life was good. And at that point, I was happy. I was still happy. Because then I'm actually realizing what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
I'm not just, farting around and pretending that everything's all cool. I actually was doing it under my own steam, and that's awesome. Double snap right there.
Solid double snap.
Eventually, I started recording with you guys at that point.
Mm-hmm.
With my first series with Fitz, the Sky Factory 2.
That was your first series?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Sky Factory with Fitz.
I didn't really. I thought you recorded with us first. I did not know that Fitz was the first person you recorded with.
It might have been that was the first time I started recording and putting it on YouTube. That was under the first couple of episodes were put under my actual Google account name.
So it wasn't Snoop 787. It
wasn't Snoop 787. It was me.
Yeah.
My account. And then after a couple episodes, I realized I'm like, wait a second, I need my own thing. So I made the Snoop 787 sub account, and that's where I'm at now.
That's where they're watching right now. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly, and it's been like this since then. So, and that was fun, and that was cool. I was having fun and playing games and working and living my life. Then I got the bug to go. I got the bug again, and this time it was telling me, yeah, renting's nice, but wouldn't it be better to actually own a place?
Oh man, you were all
hot and God, I was so into that. And I was like, okay, so I can own my own place. I wouldn't have to pay rent because I'd be paying basically my future self.
Yeah.
I'd be paying my future self in the form of a mortgage, and I would have this multi-$1,000 asset assigned to my name.
Yeah.
And God, that would be cool because I would own this. This would be my little chunk of territory, and it'd be so awesome to have. And so I did the research. I got in touch with a real estate agent. We went through the whole process over the course of
what I would like to refer to as rigmarole.
It was definitely a rigmarole, but it was a full over a year of trying to find a place, making an offer, getting denied, making an offer, getting denied, making an offer, getting tentatively accepted, starting to go through the process, getting denied again, and then finally.
Well, but there was a couple of places that you looked at and were kind of jazzed on, and then decided not to later.
Right.
So there was some a little bit still on your end in reference to like, it seemed good when I looked at it, but when I went back, kind of thing. I remember that because we were.
Yeah, there was one in Escondido that was really nice, and it was really nicely put together, and everything looked pretty cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'll put an offer on that. And then I got the details back from the inspector, saying, oh yeah, here's all the issues you got to worry about, and there were some big ones.
Yeah.
And so I told the people who were selling it, I'm like, yeah, you guys need to fix this, please, because there are significant problems, and they're quite a bit. And they're like, oh, we're not going to fix it, but we'll give you $500.
Yeah, for you to fix it, that $5,000
for a $4,000 problem.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, and I left. And I said, forget that, I'm done. But eventually, I found a place, and I bought it, and I'm living in it currently.
Right now.
Still here. Yeah. Right now. And if you ask me then, I'm happy. I'm pretty happy. Because not only do I have my own job,
good job.
Not only did I move out of my parents' place,
yep.
And by the way, the job, I'm making even more money now because I have more responsibility, and I'm the only guy who can do what I do now at that point in time.
Yep.
I'm out of the way from my parents. I can still see them whenever I want, but I'm living on my own. I'm working on my own steam. I have everything I need. I'm recording more and having fun with my friends online. And I own my own place.
Yes.
Life is good.
And then you got a girlfriend.
And then I met Sarah.
Yes.
And it's not and then I met Sarah and things
dun,
just
dun,
kind of went
dun.
down. No, that's not that.
Okay.
Then I met Sarah, and then I realized, oh God, there's even more happiness to be found out there?
And see, that's the hindsight thing. And that's something that I was kind of talking about earlier was, hold on, what does this do? I don't even know what this does. Because okay, and to kind of go off of what I was saying and what you're saying now, that is what I need.
Yeah.
Is like, I was married for 10 years. Long time ago. Got married when I was 20, got divorced when I was 30. And, now, in hindsight, and this is the bad thing with hindsight is it's not always accurate. Okay? What I mean by that is, there were times, I was with her for 10 years. There were times that I was happy. There was times that we had fun. There was times that I enjoyed myself. It's not physically possible for me to deny that, right?
Right.
But once you're kind of out of a relationship, you a lot of time really easily remember the crappy parts, and are a little vague on the good parts, right?
Right.
So yeah, but if I looked back at that time, I would think, well, no, I wasn't happy because I'm looking at it, in hindsight here. Okay, is this? Oh, okay, I thought that was me. But yeah, anyway, so I kind of get what you're saying, where, you had your place, you had your new place that you owned, you had more ability in the new place in reference, like, you didn't have to worry about, like, okay, if I want to paint this wall, am I allowed to?
Yeah. If in the old place that I rented out, if I wanted to hang up pictures, I had to make sure that for every nail I put in, I have to spackle it back in again. I have to fill it back in and then repaint over it. And I have to use their particular brand of paint to paint over it, because if I didn't, that's $5 for each nail. In this place, I own everything.
Yeah.
So I can go ahead and just nail wherever I want, and I can leave a hole in the wall. It's going to look awful.
Well,
and people are going to judge me if they come over and see a giant hole in the wall and say, "What the heck are you doing? You should fix that."
Yeah.
So obviously I would fix it. But
the thing is, if you decide to sell the house,
I could.
Decided to sell the house, you could just paint the wall all together. You can change the colors and stuff.
I could take this whole back wall behind me and paint it matte green, so I could do the full green screen if I wanted to.
And I want to point out, by the sheer fact that you brought that up, proves to me that you have seriously considered that. But anyway,
I have seriously considered it, but then I realized my mom got me this really nice green screen thing for a muslin cloth green screen, and I'm kind of using it, and I'm kind of attached to it. So I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to leave this as it is because I can. But yeah, so all was good. I met Sarah online, and It's just been getting better and better
Now,
and better.
I want to tell a story, and this is something that I'm proud of. Okay, not directly proud of myself, just proud of the situation. Okay, so I've known Snoop, pretty much been best friends with Snoop for 4 years now, 5 years now, right? Pretty much me and you became friends about the time that Heather and I started dating. Pretty close to each other, so.
Yeah, I think like maybe like a week or two before. But yeah.
Well, I think we were already talking before Heather and I really announced it because all of you guys knew that we were dating. We just hadn't,
Yeah, it was probably about time.
Yeah, we were like, okay, we're dating, and you guys are like, yeah. Anyway, so like I was saying.
Finally.
So I've been around for Snoop's dating life, and you're not. I don't see you being embarrassed for me to say that you checked out some dating sites.
Yeah, I've been on eHarmony. I've gone through that whole process. I've looked at that stuff, and I've dated a few ladies.
You went on some dates, and you met some people, and did some stuff. Just all that kind of stuff.
And it was all nice.
Yeah, and there was some that, and I'm gonna say this is gonna be the sappiest thing I've ever said, so don't get used to this. I'm gonna go right back to being a jerk in the next video you guys watch, but I've been around, so Snoop would tell us how the dates went, and how he felt about the girls, and there would be, I will admit, there were times that there were some that were met that he seemed interested in pursuing to see what would happen. Okay.
Right.
But I will say that Sarah is the only one, and I would say there's maybe a handful of that would fall into that category of, it wasn't a crappy first date, right?
Right.
And but I will say that with Sarah, which you guys are just about hitting a year, right? Almost.
It'll be a year on February 2nd.
Oh, that's right, Groundhog's Day. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be a blizzard coming in from Altoona that day, by the way.
And we'll be living that day over and over and over again.
Over and over again. Anyways, until you get Andy McDowell to fall in love with you. it's a very specific curse, so.
Right.
Anyways, so yeah. So like I said, I feel Snoop. I could see you being happy. Now, I mean, and that's the thing where it's in retrospect, because I think you're somewhat like me, where you look back, you look at things, and you're like, oh, I wish I had. Like right now, you're thinking about bigger houses, and so there's definitely a mentality of, well, if I had a bigger house, I would get to that next level of happy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of lose focus on what you have at that moment. And that kind of goes back to what we were saying at the end of the last episode, where, it's trendy to be unhappy. It's cool to be miserable. And, and I think it's a lot of the case of, you get a lot more people that are so into that, to where they're so hyper-focused on what could be, that later in life they start to realize, oh crap, I had something good, or things were cool, or I did like that. I see a lot of that with people like, oh, high school was awful, I hated it, and then you get a job, you have a mortgage, you have kids, you got to do all this stuff, and you're like...
I always have felt that high school, at the time, high school sucked. Because it's high school, you're a teenager. I don't want to go to school. I want to do my own thing. I'm now coming into my age, and I'm coming into adolescence, and being a man or being a woman, and I want to do my own thing.
Billy's a jerk to me. Sally won't go to the dance with me.
Yeah,
whatever.
and all these problems are happening. I don't want to having to deal with my math problems, and dealing with homework, and prepping for the senior picnic or whatever the heck it is.
I don't have any money. No one listens to me. Everybody
no one
just tells
respects
me what
my
to do.
thoughts.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah. High school sucked.
But there's parts of it where it's like,
looking back,
do you remember like and then this is getting like not having bills? Like, do you remember not having money? Now I'm talking more being like a younger kid. I'm not talking like 18, 19, 20 years old. But I'm saying like when I grew up, I didn't have money. And if I got money, it was like, long
money from family,
long distance relatives, generally people who didn't live close enough here to buy me something. Back in my day, you didn't have Amazon, you didn't have anything to order. Grandpa, grandma, Uncle Jim, all of them just sent you a check.
Right.
And that was your money. And I just remember I would get money and I would just instantly become dumb. Because I'd be like, what am I going to buy? Like, oh, there's so many options. And no matter what I bought, like a week later, I was like, I guess. Like, I was never really I always second-guessed myself and stuff like that. But I look back on that, I'm like, do you remember when $20 was a lot of money? Oh. Or the idea of having $100 was crazy?
It was absolutely nuts when so get this. I ended up having to sell something of mine. Sorry, that was it's Luna's cat toy. I actually ran over. So I ended up having to sell something of mine.
Okay.
Because we needed some cash, and I had the most things to get rid of, so I decided to chip into the garage sale, and I sold something, and I sold it for $50.
Okay.
I was 10.
Okay.
And suddenly I had $50.
Real quick, I just want to point out, I'm totally exploiting a glitch in the book, in the mechanism line, because what it wants is a retrieval task, and it's make a basic bin, advanced bin, elite bin, and ultimate bin. As soon as I make the basic one, it gives me the quest. And it's done that for all of the pipes, and all of the tanks, all of the gas tanks. As long as I make one of them,
like the basic pipe version of it creates them all.
It shows that I made them all. So anyway, sorry, I just want to put
cheater.
that out there. Yeah, basically, and I'm fine with it. So.
But yeah, age 10, $50, and it's not mom and dad's.
Yep.
It's not my sister's. It's not anyone else's. It's mine.
I want to know what you sold, if you can tell me.
Oh, if I can remember.
Oh, okay.
I think it was an old game system. I think it was an NES.
Oh, okay.
I sold my old NES because I had an SNES at the time, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And then, I don't really need my NES, but someone wanted to buy it, and they would pay me $50 for it, which is like, "Oh, yes, sure, here you go." And I got $50, and so I had $50 at age 10, and that was like, I was a millionaire.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my god, I have so much money. What am I going to spend with it all? I could buy so many candy right now. So much candy.
Yeah, you would spend a lot of time saying all the stuff you could buy.
All the stuff I could buy with $50. So, but in high school, I was getting a modest income from working, and people, for some people may have had that situation. They may have gotten allowances from their parents, or maybe they just had to make ends meet. No judgment either way. But looking back now at my high school self, first off, I was an idiot. Right off the bat, high school me is an idiot. High school me is dumber than dirt. But high school me had so much fun back then.
Yeah.
Because the only responsibilities I had to do was to make sure that I didn't kill myself when doing something dumb.
Yeah.
And to clean myself up every now and then.
and take care of any responsibilities like
like schoolwork or housework and stuff like that. That's all I had to do. That's all I had to worry about.
Yeah.
And high school was it was fun. It was a good time.
But the funny part is, most people who look back, I think there's a lot of people that are worried that if they talk about how happy they were in high school, that it'll almost... There's an old cliche where anybody who had, who reminisces about high school being good are people whose lives have sucked since then. Cliches you always hear about, like, the football player who's, still living in
living in the shadow of his former self.
Yeah, or something.
He
like
still
that.
wants to be a football player, but he's not actually.
Yeah, he never went to college. He never played in college. Didn't get the accolades, or the guy who everybody thought was going to be, the next president, and ends up, just having some mundane job that he doesn't like. He does, and all this stuff.
It's being a used car salesman or something along those
lines.
I'm
funny.
Yeah.
I generally look back at high school fondly. I actually do. I wasn't necessarily like an outcast. Now, a lot of it had to do with where I lived, because I lived in a town where a lot of the football players and cheerleaders and all those people were people that I went to school with since first grade, since kindergarten.
Right.
So these are people that I've known forever. I knew them before they were cool, before they were athletic, before they had that growth spurt, before they got boobs, guys and girls. Anyways, and so generally I just knew everyone, right? It wasn't that big of a deal. But then I ended up, and I just got lucky because, I happened to be in a, oh crap. I went somewhere that I don't know if I can get back up. I happened to be into skateboarding, and I did that and got into like punk rock music and stuff like that. And so we were kind of, a little bit lonery, a little bit outcasty, our group, but on purpose, because we just kind of hated people.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened we were something that was uncool when it became cool.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So high school really wasn't that bad for me. I actually just wasn't a fan of the school part. And it was mostly, I was just lazy. I mean, let's just be honest with what it was. So yeah,
that's kind of cool.
That's what I think of me. Well, me being lazy? Yeah, I know.
Well, no, the automatic lubricator setup.
Yeah, I guess it makes some of the machines go faster.
Yeah, I have it hooked up to the crusher right now. It's got to put lube in it. It's good. It adds a couple extra pipes to the design of the multi-block structure. Looks neat.
Does it really?
Yeah. So we're actually out of time. So
we're way.
I just want to wrap it up with one quick little thing.
Uh-huh.
So I guess the whole my whole boil it down in a nutshell situation is, anytime I look at when I look back now at any point in time that I can single out as a significant milestone in my life, I can say that I was happy at that time.
Yep.
And then every time after that point, I was just more and happier and happier and happier.
Yeah. And that's the goal. That's the goal.
And
in my mind.
that's in my mind. That's true. It's the same. That's a goal in my mind. Is that, and you can look back at your life, at your major milestones and your achievements and the things that have happened to you, and you could say, yeah, that I was happiest at that point in time. And then you look at the next one and you say, oh, I was actually happiest at that time, and keep going up till now. Then I've lived a pretty good life.
Now
I've lived a pretty good life myself.
Only part I will throw into this, for me, and there's only been a handful of things that I can think of in my life, and I'm not going to go into those, but the only thing that I can think that ever diminishes that happiness or something like that is regret of not trying something. Regret of not doing something. Regret of not taking the risk. I'm not talking about, well, that's the case, let's jump out of this airplane without a parachute. Don't be stupid. But what I'm saying is just that chance of like, because I always look like this. There's very few things in life, unless they're just majorly dumb, that you can't undo. So, if there's a point where, say you're financially stable, say you're getting out of high school, you're living with your parents, and you decide that you want to try stand-up comedy. Go try it. Don't throw your life away, but go try it, because, and if it's your thing, maybe it becomes your permanent thing. And if not, go to college or go do whatever, the plan was, and, if there's ever a case of just like any big thing, here's the thing. You go at, there's some girl or guy that you like. I mean, it might be a little embarrassing, but everybody gets embarrassed by that. Ask them out. If they say no, you're no worse off than you'd be if you didn't say
The worst
something.
thing they can do is say no.
Yeah, and that's it. And the funny part is, by not asking them, you've already said no for them. You've already done it. So you're literally making what the worst thing that could happen.
Yep.
And so, that's my whole thing. All right, go wrap it up.
Anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for hanging out with us and shooting the breeze with us.
Yeah.
Really do appreciate that with you and me and Modi and everyone just kind of chilling and having fun with this. So, well, thank you for joining us, guys. I also want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Host Havoc.
Yep.
Because to be honest, they're the real MVPs, yo.
Yo, Broham, listen
yo, dog,
up.
check it.
Listen here. For real.
No, seriously, go check out Host Havoc if you're looking for quality Minecraft servers and more. They are just doing great jobs for us and keeping our servers going, and there are no issues, no problems that I can think of.
Nope.
So check them out. Use the referral link down below. And as always, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.